Hey everybody, so I got the bike about 99.9% stripped. I still have things like the rear derailleur hanger and a couple of screws here and there. But right now I'm in the process of getting the decals replicated. There's the Rennstahl logo on the down tube and then another logo on the seat tube and up on the top tube. I'm hoping to salvage the head badge. I'll have to use a heat gun and maybe some dental floss to try to peel that away without damaging it. We'll see how that goes. And I also want to put a Reynolds 853 decal near the bottom to show that it's manufactured from the 853 tube set. And I wanted to just give a quick explanation about steel alloys and the types of manufacturers right now and the tube set offerings they have. This is just a very basic introduction if you're thinking about getting your first steel bike. Now, probably the entry-level steel tube set would be something like 4130 chromoly and something like a Surly. I don't think they do budding on their tube sets. I think it's just 4130 chromoly. Now this is fine depending on the use case of the bike. If you're going to be doing a lot of, let's say, bike commuting with bags, maybe you lock up your bike near a train station, the frame is just going to get bashed around and you want it to be sturdy. Maybe you're going to do a world tour. Something like a 4130 straight wall tube set would be ideal for that use. It's going to be a heavier frame, but it's going to be a much more durable frame. Not only that, because you have thicker wall thicknesses, a lot of your bumps will be absorbed and dissipated throughout the frame. So it will feel like a much more comfortable frame, if that's what you're going for, with the sacrifice of weight. So it's going to be much heavier. Above the straight wall 4130 chromoly tube set, above that you start getting into budding. And let me also just stress that the entry-level tube set, the 4130 chromoly, is also probably not going to have these curves and shapes in the tubing. It's just going to be round of different diameter tubes. So then the next level above 4130 chromoly, you start getting into heat treating, which adds a little bit of strength to the overall frame. And the designer of the frame can get a little bit thinner of a wall thickness when you introduce this heat treatment, because you're adding strength to the final frame assembly. And another thing you can get when you're into the 4130 heat treated chromoly is you can get budding on your tube profiles. Now, budding means you can have either double budded or triple budded, but essentially the tubing in the center is drawn through a machine. The whole tubing is drawn through I think it's a hydraulic machine, where the center of the tube is stretched, and the extremes ends of the tube doesn't go through that process. And what happens there is the wall thickness at the ends of the tube will be a little bit thicker than the center. And they do this to reduce weight. I'm not exactly sure how the process is done entirely, I saw a quick video on it, and I believe they start with a short version of this tube, and it's stressed through a hydraulic, I don't know if it's a mandrel or a press or something, but it's basically drawn through this machine where the center part of the tube has a thinner wall thickness than the outer ends of the tube. And they do this to increase the strength at the joints and allow for better heat transfer and workability when the welder goes in and welds these areas. Then above the heat-treated 4130 chromoly budded tube set, you can go above that even more, and you start getting into exotic alloys, where they introduce some other materials to lighten and strengthen the tube set. But when you do this, the cost goes up dramatically. And we see this in the Reynolds 853 tube set that you see here, and the Columbus Spirit Life tube set. There's a third manufacturer, so I just mentioned two manufacturers here. There's Reynolds, which I believe they're in the UK. There is Columbus in Italy, and I think Italy has a third one, Dedekai, it's pronounced. Now, I don't think they make as much tube sets now as they used to. I think they were more well known for aluminum tube sets, but they did do a lot of steel tube sets back in the early 2000s. Some very exotic materials that they used, like boron, I believe. You might have seen this on some of the Bianchi. But I think they're more, if you've ever seen the logo Deda, this is the same company, Dedekai, and they're more into accessories or the finishing kit of the frames. So you're talking about the stems, the forks, seat post, things like that. They're more common to manufacture now. But back to the exotic materials, when you start getting into, let's say, Reynolds 853 or Columbus Spirit Life, now you can get some exotic shapes. So you can see the front of the top tube here is squished vertically, and then at the back it's squished horizontally to allow for clearance of your legs and knees. And you can have some really aggressive curving. I'll show you the back here, where the tire feeds through. So that would be the Reynolds 853 and the Columbus Spirit Life tube sets. And you'll have, you'll probably get into what's called triple butted. So you have three different wall thicknesses. So you'll have one type of wall thickness here, let's say where the head tube is, where you need a lot of heat for the thick-walled head tube. Then down the center you can have a much thinner wall tube, and then near the seat post you have a third dimension of wall thickness. Probably not as thick as the head tube area, definitely not as thin as the center, but somewhere in between. And you're further trying to eliminate weight in the final assembly. This particular frame has undergone some additional corrosion protection. So after I'm done making the logos and getting them all cut out, I'll have to proof the logos to make sure they're the right dimension. And so Rennstahl does this electrochemical coating process. You can see in here the bottom bracket. It's a little dirty right now, but it's all been painted with this electrochemical coating process they do. I don't think it's powder coating. I think it's some kind of a chemical dip process. where the frame is given one kind of polarity and the paint is another, and the paint just basically adheres through electric reaction. And you can see here down the head tube, you can see how it's all coated in there. So this provides for a lot of corrosion protection. So when I go ahead and repaint this frame, I am going to probably try to maintain the black coating you see now and try to just scuff it up, eliminate the logos. I'll just hand sand it the best I can and make sure that it's very clean and everything, and then get a standard primer coating on it. I am going to be adding a little bit more weight to the frame by repainting it, because I'm adding, you know, more liquid of paint, and this is going to be heavier. But yeah, I want it to look really nice, you know, with a nice I think metallic paint on there would look really nice. I'll also paint the fork. So I'm not sure how much more weight I'll be adding, but I'll be adding a little bit more weight, which is fine because this frame is pretty light to begin with. I think it's about 1.8 or 1.9 kilogram, which is pretty good for a steel frame set, especially when you have the features that it has, such as internal routing. You have a kickstand mount there in the back. I think I'm going to keep that. I probably won't use it, but maybe the next owner, you know, much later down the line might want to use it. But yeah, so back to the steel grades. You could get even fancier than 853 and the Columbus Spirit Life. They actually do stainless steel, and stainless steel would not require paint. I'm not exactly sure how strong a stainless steel frame would be compared to, let's say, titanium. But when you start looking at a titanium or a stainless steel frame, the price goes up like astronomically. I think the Reynolds 853 and the Columbus Spirit Life is going to give you the highest performing frame with the lowest weight possible for the value that you're getting, the cost that you're spending on it. I think it's just overall the best value. And when you get into stainless steel or titanium, what you're really paying for is the corrosion protection, which Rennstahl has done very well here with their electrochemical painting process. The seat tube was the seat post was aluminum, and it came out with no problems. The bottom bracket came out with no problems. The bottom bracket shell, everything came apart very, very easily. There's no corrosion other than just you know, dirt and debris and stuff like that found its way in there. But all that is going to clean away very, very easily. So I need to maintain that and not damage it if at all possible during the rebuild. Anyway, I hope you find this video informative. Stay along with the progress. I will talk about a little bit how the Campagnolo Potenza group set came apart. There were some unique things I had to deal with on that, but got it solved. I think I want to go with the Ultegra 8020 group set I have for my giant TCR. I don't think I will look for gravel riding with this bike, but you know, having some light gravel paths I think will be fine for the Ultegra group set. I won't need anything like with a clutched rear derailleur like on a GRX or anything. So yeah, so the next step is to get these decals finished and then start scuffing up the frame for primer. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope you enjoyed. See you out there.